Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Taylor Chine's The Resort. And this is from writer-director Taylor Chine about this group of young people, 4 friends who go to Hawaii to investigate this supposedly haunted hotel. Right off the bat, stupid white people, right? Oh my god. And obviously, Eddie Murphy made this joke long time ago where the term Get Out came from that inspired the title of Jordan Peele's film of, like you have a black family goes into a haunted house, they're like, peace, goodbye. White people, oh, this is such a lovely house. And then you have these stupid young people, because of course they're stupid, because they always are in these kinds of horror films, that are like, this'll be really cool, let's go to this haunted place. And it can't be haunted. And surprise, surprise, it's haunted. And you have this situation, and this is all told through this interesting choice of, you find out that one of the young women got away and is telling this cop this story. And every time they cut away to this scene, especially towards the beginning, it's really awkwardly edited together. It really does not flow well in how they break it up. And then towards the end, when it's film finally climaxing, you're like, why are we cutting away from this? And it just completely zaps the tension away from the film. So I thought that was an odd choice in terms of how it was directed and put together, and also to have the story structured in that way, because it doesn't really add much to it. And you're taking a look, you're hanging out with these 4 in an apartment, and one of them brings up this haunted place. It's like, oh, let's hear about it. Video blog on the internet, and it's just like, let's tell you everything you need to know about this place. And it's just like really obnoxious exposition. It's just like, you couldn't have come up with a more creative way of giving this information, instead of like, here's basically a video for you to watch so that you can get all this information. There you go, audience. And for an hour and 15-minute film, this kind of stuff feels so wasteful. And like, you shouldn't be padding the runtime here. And this film has a lot of cliches. It has an eccentric pilot who helicopters them in. And you have, by God, Sam. This guy, I hated him. In general, I didn't really connect well with any of these characters. None of them were particularly interesting. They were just kind of one-dimensional kinds of caricatures. But this guy, Sam, he's super likable and interesting when somebody references Pearl Harbor, and he's like, Pearl Harbor, I'm a huge fan of Michael Bay. And it's just like, no thank you. And he's so annoying and obnoxious and just acts like a complete idiot, and you're just like, can he be the first one to die so I don't have to see him? And it's that kind of movie where you kind of figure, yeah, they're all going to die, especially because this young woman at the beginning is like, all of my friends are dead. And it's just like, oh, then where's the tension in this film? And why are they even going here? Who thought this was a good idea? And God, they have this, and the voiceover is like, this was the last moment where we felt joy. And they're like having this party in this like waterfall area, and it's slow motion. There's slow motion shots of women's abs and their breasts in their swimsuits, and you're just like, this movie. And you're just sitting there like, I can't believe this movie. And throughout like almost all this film, there's no tension. Even when it starts getting scary, it feels like there's no tension because they keep cutting back to this interrogation, this interview with this police officer, and you're sitting here watching this film. This is in 75 minutes. It takes until the 49-minute mark to legitimately have its first scare. Like, what's it waiting for? And it's not like this stuff, like, this isn't like Hereditary, where you go for 2/3 of the movie without hitting anything like what you expected from this movie, but it emotionally devastates you and creates this impeccable family drama. This is just a bunch of nonsense and annoying characters. And they're just like, things are getting weird because there's birds flying around in patterns, and you're just like, that's what's getting you weird? You showed up to this place knowing that everybody said it was haunted, and you're just like, no, it's getting weird. And like, where are the scares throughout this whole entire movie? And you finally get up to the climax of this film, and there's a couple effective scares. But a lot of it's horrible special effects that look terrible. And, like, this film doesn't feel like it's in a cheeky enough way like Evil Dead to get away with, like, this campiness. No, like, this film felt like... I don't know what it felt like. It didn't feel like it was trying to be a comedy. But then some of the effects towards the end, especially some of the practical, I guess they might be practical effects, or is meant to look like them, are so cheesy and just funny, honestly. And it gets to this point where it just feels like it's trying to be Evil Dead. And it does come up with that ending of this film feels like a horror movie ending, and you're just like... treated to a bunch of like screaming, and you're just at the end like, why did I waste 75 minutes watching this movie? This one wasn't a fan of. I need some really high quality horror to get me into it. There is no high quality horror here. This just feels like I can't even recommend it as a horror film unless you skip the first 50 minutes, and that's the unfortunate thing. Like, it really didn't have scares, and when it finally did, it felt so... I was so checked out of the film at that point where it was hard for me to even connect anymore. So, honestly, wouldn't really highly recommend The Resort. Unless you really love horror movies. And then you might want to skip 50 minutes into the movie just so that you can watch the third act. But those are my thoughts on The Resort. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.